Hi, my name is William Hewitt, and I am a first-year college student at Naugatuck Valley Community College. I am currently studying the course Western Civilizations, which has a focus on the monarchies in Europe and the Middle East. In this speech, I hope to provide you information regarding British history and that history's impact on the government, culture, and day-to-day life of the United States. With that out of the way, let's get started. Britain was founded by Anglo-Saxon tribes who migrated to the island from various lands across Europe, including Scandinavia, Saxony, and Denmark. This period of Britain, which lasted up until the 9th century, was marked by feudalism. Feudalism was a system of government in which local lords would promise protection for serfs in exchange for those serfs' labor and taxes. The kings during this era, which had some autonomy over these lords, were made up of King Alfred and his successors. In the year 1066, the first Norman king of England, William, was crowned. William, according to the text Western Civilizations, introduced a new type of leadership called the monarchy. Also, according to this text, William used force to conquer the island of Britain and lands in France, and he was known for his harsh method of imposing his will onto those he captured. William's son and grandson, Henry I and Henry II, would gain land for the British crown. In 1199, Richard the Lionheart was established as England's king. Richard was effective in ruling England. He was so effective, in fact, that he spent much of his 10-year tenure fighting in the religiously sparked crusades in the Middle East and still maintained relative stability in England. However, Richard was controversial in that to fund these crusades, he taxed the nobility of England. Richard died in retreat from battle during the Fourth Crusade, which made King John the King of England. King John, like Richard, was an effective administrator of government. However, due to the rising French monarchy, John lost many lands that were once held by Henry. These losses of land made John increase taxes on the nobility once more. This, however, once again, did not go over well with the nobility, and this time they demanded change. This change came in the form of the Magna Carta, or Great Charter. The Magna Carta was a legal document which limited the king's power. The English Parliament was established, and in order to levy taxes after the implementation of the Magna Carta, the king had to get parliamentary approval. The Magna Carta also gave many rights to the nobility and common people, including the policy of innocence until proven guilty, among many other rights, including the ones in the top left corner of this slide. In the hundreds of years after the signing of the Magna Carta in the 1200s, the British expanded their territory onto the east coast of North America. The first one of these settlements would be the 1607 colony of Jamestown in what is current-day Virginia. Relative peace would last during this period up until the 1750 French-Indian War and the 1776 American Revolution. According to the text Western Civilizations, the losses from the prior 7 Years' War in 1750 caused the British to raise taxes on the colonists. These taxes ranged from the stamp tax, sugar tax, and tea tax. These taxes, accompanied with many other factors including the 1770 Boston Massacre and general mistreatment of colonists by the British, resulted in rebellion and is what sparked the American Revolution. According to the website history.com, the American Revolution was fought between the small colonist army versus the larger British army. However, the colonists had the advantage of being accustomed to the land and having French support due to French the French sympathizing with them due to their own troubles with an abusive monarch back home. The American Revolution was fought for 7 years and ended in 1783, with the Americans being given independence from the British. This also occurred 5 years after the turning point at the Battle of Saratoga. According to a term paper that was based off a 2003 textbook called Geography, most of the rules and regulations that are in our legal documents today, including the American Bill of Rights and American Constitution, have roots reaching back to the British. They heavily looked at the Magna Carta and English Bill of Rights when framing the American Bill of Rights and American Constitution. It can be argued that if the British never had any negative interactions with the Americans, that we might not have ever gained independence and still be flying the Union Jack. So you might ask yourself, how does this impact me? Well, Americans have an independent fervor that was based off the rebellion due to the 1776 American Revolution. Citizens now have the right to vote and the right to many other things in exchange for taxes. This is fitting for the saying, no taxation without representation. It can also be argued that the British colonization of America influenced the Americans to push westward on what would be called the Manifest Destiny, where they colonized California, Oregon, and Washington. To conclude this speech, the events that started with the Anglo-Saxon migrations to England and ended with American independence from the British in 1783 paved the way for the American government and day-to-day life as we see it today. Old legal documents, such as the English Magna Carta and English Bill of Rights, paved the way for the rights given to American citizens today. The Americans have an independence culture based off the rebellion that occurred in 1776. It can be argued that today, if the Americans never tried to gain their independence from the British, we might still be flying the Union Jack, hailing Queen Elizabeth II as our monarch, and singing God Save the Queen. Thank you for watching my speech.